Well, g'day YouTubers and what little followers I have, and hopefully that will grow as people start to see what I'm doing and share it with family and friends. But anyway, sorry this week's video is a little bit late, but I've had some procrastination, wondering what to do a video on. So what I've come up with is I need to have a good talk about mental health. I realised in the last few months I haven't been taking my depression medication. I filled that script. I took some tablets, and throughout the day I started to notice some things. One was they did what they were designed to do, which is stop my emotions. They also numbed sections of my brain, and they also made me lethargic. Now, in the past, because my health and everything else wasn't in a good state, that was fine. I needed that. But what I did find was that I lost the inspiration to write. So I took it upon myself, which I know is a big no-no, but I did it. I refused to take them anymore. I'm still taking my CBD medication because I'm not noticing it altering anything that I'm wanting to do at the moment. But I can say now I'm back to having the energy, the ambition, the inspiration. I've actually sat here this morning and punched out about 3 chapters in my book. So I've had some really good progress. But during the chapters that I'm writing in this new book, and again, I will reiterate, this book is not a self-help book. I am in no way fully qualified on any of the subjects that I'm talking about. It is all from my perspective, my understanding, and how I see things and how I feel things. And it's led me to look deeply at myself, and I've come across a few realizations. The first realization is mental health is a demon. Regardless of what name you want to call it or what label you want to put on it, it is a demon. It attacks us mentally. It changes how we see, do things, act, live amongst other people. And it is not 100% the reason that we can become consumed with addictions. But in my life, I have been an alcoholic. I have been addicted to low-level drugs. And low-level drugs, I'm saying marijuana, occasional speed. I'm obviously on a lot of prescribed medications. That's an addiction. I'm also working on trying to get off as many medications as my health improves. I've also been addicted to gambling. And I worked out today whilst writing my book, I get addicted to people. And when I say I'm addicted to people, it doesn't mean I'm addicted to everybody. What it means is certain people have entered into my life at different times for whatever reason, and I become attached because the way it makes me feel, the way it may improve my life, or in recent times when my mental health has been quite bad, I've relied on some people a little bit too much. And part of that addiction means that I've also not acknowledged their own trials and tribulations or what they might have going on in their own life. And as much as I might put out or say or make it look like I do, it's not always the way. I've also, in the last couple of months, stopped searching for approval from people. I spent a lot of my life seeking approval, seeking proudness, seeking love. And I've realised that none of that applies to any of us until we learn to love ourselves, respect ourselves, be proud of ourselves, and make ourselves better every single day in everything that we do. That also means that if you see your actions or something like that that is hurting somebody else or is making other people uncomfortable, then it's up to you to change that. It's not up to them. You might say, but that's me, you need to suck it up, you need to deal with it. That's all well and good. I do that I've now decided that who I am, what I want from my life, I don't care if people don't fit into that. But it's not up to me to cause them harm for not fitting into that or not understanding that. That's on me. I've never been violent to partners. I've never deliberately been violent to anybody. But even our words are violence. We sit there and say we love certain people, but in times of hurt, we can say some really nasty things. And that's something I've tried to improve on as I got older. But I still see it today. I still see people post on things like Instagram, the new one, Threads, Facebook, about how they feel unloved, how they feel unwanted, how they're never ever hearing that somebody that means the world to them is proud of them, or there's physical, emotional, or mental abuse coming from somebody they expect to love them. Along with that comes a choice. And that choice is you don't have to have those people in your life. But it also leads to things these days called domestic violence, which is nothing new. It's been around for decades. But it seems to be more problematic these days because instead of sitting there saying, if I really love this person, like I'm acting out towards them in saying that, hey, I love you, I can't live without you, why do you want to hurt them? Why do you want to psychologically abuse them? Or even go to the point of where you take a life? It's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to improve your life in any way. In some circumstances, it will make it even worse. But why do we have this constant need to inflict towards others that honestly, if we sat down and looked at ourselves, we wouldn't like it happening to us? Nowhere in my books or what I will post on YouTube do I say I'm perfect. I have flaws. I see things certain ways. It doesn't always agree with other people. I'm okay with that. Because it's not my job to change them. It's not my job to force them. But every day I have to grow. And every day I have to be a better version of myself. And through that process, I've learned to love myself. I've learned to be proud of what I achieved today. I'm starting to learn not to live in the past, although the past is what has got me to where I am. There's a saying that many people say, and it's a saying that I even like to use, and that is, you can't turn the clock back and fix tomorrow. Fix yesterday, sorry. Bit of a bloop. You can't turn it forward and predict what's going to happen tomorrow. Every day you wake up is your day, and it's the only day you've got to live. It's the only day you can live, and it's the only day that you can actually do something. If you're finding that your life is not full of accomplishment or giving you the satisfying feeling that you want out of it, what are you doing about it? Look, I could forget about putting my life up here on YouTube. I could forget about writing my books and putting my feelings into it and my experiences. I could walk out the door tomorrow and not talk to another soul. But is that really what we want from life? I know it's not what I want. So to go forward from here, get off your butts. Stop sitting there on technology, and I'm just as guilty for it. This is why I can say it. Stop sitting there telling everyone, poor me, I'm struggling. I'm not saying you can't talk about your mental health, because talking about it is what helps. But I found that the more I start to look at how it may affect others or what I'm expecting others to give to me, there's things I'm not giving to myself. And one of those things is I'm not giving myself love, I'm not giving myself respect, and I'm not giving myself the encouragement to improve my life. That's got to change. And I'm the only one that can change it. And I have noticed in the last few months where I've slowly been making these simple changes, that the people I once needed approval from or needed to hear, I'm proud of you from, they've started saying that. Because I'm no longer asking. And as nice as it is to hear, I'm also not worried about if I hear it. That's showing that I've got growth within and I'm starting to empower my own life. And it also has taught me that I'm starting to take control of my life. I also realised that becoming dependent on the people in my life is draining for them. And I don't want that for them. I want them to be in my life, and I want them to be happy to be around me, and I want them to be happy to come and do things with me. And the only way that will happen is if I put myself out there on that path, and I can show them that spending time with me is not going to be a drag. It's not going to be, poor me, or fuck, I'm struggling, or any of that shit that we seem to put out there. And I constantly see, and I've been guilty of it for 35 years, I tried to find love, I tried to find happiness, I tried to build a family that would last me eternally. And I thought I found that the last relationship I had. But my health got bad, my mental health got bad. And I've realised that that person was supportive to me, overly supportive. But it took having them exit my life to realise that even though I knew of their own struggles and their own health conditions, and as concerned as I was, because I truly loved that person, and I always will, I realised I used up everything. And we do that to our family, we do that to our friends, we do that to our partners, we do it to our children. And you know what? What do they get from us? They just get more of it every day. And what's the one thing that we say to ourselves? I'm tired of my mental health. I'm tired of my struggle. I'm tired. I'm fed up. To the point where we think we don't even want to be here anymore. It hurts. And you know what? Fuck it. It's time to stand up. It's time to be accountable for ourselves. It's time to reach out to those services, clinical psychologists, psychiatrists. I've had to do that in the last few years, and look, you mightn't have a fit with the first person you see, but keep seeing them, keep going to them, and eventually you'll find that one that understands you. You have a feeling that you're finally being able to unload. And you're not alone. There's millions of people across this world suffering from depression, anxiety, PTSD, CPTSD, autism, ADHD, Asperger's, the spectrum, Down syndrome, life in general. Just some people seem to be able to handle it better than others. It doesn't mean they're perfectly okay. It means we never get to see what they're like behind closed doors when they're alone, how bad their struggle is. But how do they keep managing to be out in this world when some of us seem to fail being able to do that? And I think that's because they've learnt the lesson. That lesson is that everyone says it, and I've said it. You need to love yourself. You need to respect yourself. You need to be proud of yourself. And you need to get off your fucking ass and do something to help yourself. Now that I have that power within me and I have that pumping through my head every single day and reminding myself every single day, I take inspiration from those bad days. I take inspiration from watching those Facebook or Instagram videos or YouTube videos and seeing how other people not only live their life, but put their life out there, how they're not coping or are coping with everyday things. And I realise we're not alone. We're just separated by our own pure way of understanding everything. It's got to stop. Even though there are groups out there, and I've said it before, there are groups out there that help with mental health and awareness and all this stuff. Why do we need so many different groups? The reason we have so many different groups is because, again, no one's on the same page. What might work for some doesn't work for someone else. And that's why all these different groups start. And that's fine. But why can't all these groups get together, collaborate, and bring it under one roof? And cater to all the twists and turns that mental health and life brings us. That's what's got me buggered. So like a few people that stand out away from these groups and these organisations, I'm putting myself out there in paper, by books, and by these videos which are raw and unedited. So that you see you're not alone. You just got to change how you see things. You got to stop being reliant on other people in your life. One thing I've seen lately is people posting, I'm so lonely because I don't have a partner. You can have a partner and be lonely. Just because somebody lays in the bed next to you or sits there on the couch beside you doesn't mean you're not alone. I've experienced that. Sit back, think. How many times have you been in a relationship and you've had somebody sitting beside you that you supposedly love or are in love with, yet you feel distance, you feel loneliness. Yet when they're no longer there and you're sitting there in those same spots by yourself and you're saying, God damn, I need somebody. No, you don't. I spent 35 years needing somebody. The only thing I needed was to respect myself, love myself, and be true to myself. Since then, I don't feel loneliness anymore. I don't care if I go to a coffee shop and sit there and have a coffee by myself. I don't care if I go to a pub and have a meal by myself. I don't. But what I do is when a friend says to me, hey, do you want to catch up and go out for dinner, or you want to go catch up for a coffee, I now appreciate those times way better than I ever have. People say to me, don't stop looking for love. I don't know how to answer that. I don't want to go through the turmoil that I've been through in the last 35 years again. But it does not mean that somebody doesn't come along who seems to fit in with my life. And I kind of come to the realisation that one day there just might be that person. I'm not going to chase them. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, pick me, or oh, I'm madly in love with you, or rah, rah. And look, as much as I say that, there's probably times where someone will gain my interest and I probably will make that exact remark. But I'm slowly, every day, realising that if I'm worthwhile to anybody, I don't need to beg them. I don't need to convince them. I don't need to chase them. I don't need to guilt them. But if they just happen to turn up one day and they're there with me on a road trip, or they're there laying in a bed beside me, or they're there holding my hand when I'm crying, or vice versa, and they're still there in 30 years, then maybe I found love. Because I think when you least expect something or less desire something, that's when it'll fall into your place. Anyway, again, as usual, I've yacked for a long time, and I hope some of that means something or makes sense to you, because it makes sense to me, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But remember, it's free to subscribe. It costs you nothing. YouTube does not charge you a cent to press that subscribe button. They don't charge you to share my videos to your family and friends where somebody might be suffering and they might find something I've said inspiring. You never know what can help somebody. I come across little snippet videos all the time that mean something. That's what's giving me the power to continue every day. Anyway, I'll get this video uploaded. I'll work on another idea. But as I said, I'm not going to continue to keep doing mental health videos all the time. I want to start getting out and about and putting some different content up on my page. But this is aloof TV, so you'll never know what you're going to get. And it's not a direct sailing channel, fishing channel, motorbike channel or any of that. But it's open to having any of that as part of it, because that's everyday life. Whatever you enjoy doing, do it. But start getting off the couch, get out of bed, set yourself a routine, get out there in the community, Go to local organisations in your area and volunteer. Even if there's places like here in Tasmania, we have things called Neighbourhood House, and you can just wander in there for a chat. You can go up there just for a coffee and a tea. It's those things that get you out and about that will change your life. And you'll start to meet people, and those people have their own stories. Listen to them. Listen to their stories. Because sometimes what they've been through might resonate, might be similar, or it might just spark something in you to realise, hey, I've got something in here to give to this world. And I'm actually a wanted part of this world. We're not put on this earth to be excluded. We're not put on this earth to be a burden. We're put on this earth because at some stage we come across people that will either change our lives or we will change theirs. So finally, love yourself, be proud of yourself, get out there. Have a good week. Talk to you soon.